What's going on, guys? In today's episode, today we are going to talk about selling jobs for more than everyone else. That's what we need to do, obviously, in order to run a sustainable business. And I want to make a point here that I talk about in the episode is that we are playing a game where people around us, our competition is not playing by the rules. And we have two choices. We can either follow suit and not play by the rules, or we can get creative. And in this episode, we're going to talk about what you need to do to be creative when you're competing against companies that are not playing by the same rules you are and is confusing our customers. So this episode is power packed with some advice for you to get started this week with selling jobs for more money than everyone else and being confident in doing so. So I'm excited for you to jump in, and the episode starts right now. The big question you need to ask yourself every day is, do I own a job or do I own a business? And unfortunately, the majority of contractors out there own a job. That's right, they're a slave to their own business. But the other side of the fence is so much greener, it's so much better, and that's when you're finally fully in control of your destiny, your freedom, your time. And that's what Contractor Secrets is about. It's about taking back our time, building a business with systems, standards, values, procedures, putting yourself in the driver's seat. And that's what it's about. So I'm excited. I'm happy to have you here. Let's dive into the Contractor Secrets podcast. What's going on, guys? In today's episode, I want to talk to you about not getting frustrated anymore about people telling you your price is too high. First things first, let's get this out of the way. There is a such thing as the right customer and someone that's not your customer. And what we should be thinking of every time we go to an estimate is that we are just filtering out the people that are not our customers. Okay. And what we could do mentally is say, I'm going to use this person as practice to handle objections, to hang in there, to ask the right questions, to perfect my sales process for when I get to the customer that's my customer. I'm going to be on it. I'm going to be on point. Okay. Because early on in my business, I used to get so frustrated when people would tell me no. And it wasn't because any other reason other than I knew that I was going to do the absolute best job for them. I was going to give them the best experience. I was going to make sure that they had no concerns, that communication was there, and that the end result was perfect. And part of me was a little offended because it was almost like, I can tell you want a great experience. I have the team that I pay very well to ensure that you have the great experience. I have all the technology, automations. I'm using, software to make sure that you're communicated with effectively. We answer the phone on the first 2-3 rings. We make sure that you feel valued, and you look me right in my eye and you tell me that my price is too high compared to someone else who I know isn't up to our standard. And you simply devalue me based off of the price that I gave you. And part of me wishes that I could have a crystal ball and we could put two crystal balls in front of them and we could say, okay, let's watch how your experience with each company is going to unfold if you hire them. And they could see what it would be like to hire the cheaper contractor, the guy that doesn't care, the frustration of trying to communicate with them and get colors in, and the frustration of waiting for their team to show up in the morning when they said they were going to be there, the frustration of feeling eerie when people who are on their job give them that feeling of not feeling secure, of just anxious, of all this that deter the awesome experience they could be having. And then they see my crystal ball that really just makes them see really the communication from start to finish, the team, the atmosphere of the job, the end result of just peace of mind, them actually talking to the crew leader and saying, you know what, I'm actually going to go out today, I got some shopping to do, hey, you guys are free to do your thing. That level of trust, I wish they could see that, but they can't. So what do I have to do? I essentially got to create a crystal ball for them to see. Whenever I go and do an estimate, I've literally got to show them as much as I possibly can of what that experience is going to look like before they make a decision. I've got to paint the picture. I've got to be a storyteller. Okay. I have got to understand that I am competing against others who do not operate at the same standard that I do. In any game, a game is a game because the rules are finite, which means that there's the same playing field, there's the same rules, there's the same time frame. And what that does is, you know the saying, it keeps the playing field even. So if football teams, all 32 of them in the NFL, play together, they are all playing with the same rules, the same amount of salary cap, the same amount of whatever. Okay, you get the gist. Now, in our game, the game of contracting, unfortunately, it's not regulated enough to where everyone's playing by the same rules. And if every customer was diligent enough to say, okay, great, let me see your license. Okay, great, let me see your workers' comp. Okay, great, let me see your general liability insurance. Okay, great, how do you vet your employees? If every customer was that diligent, then I guess we wouldn't have as much of a problem as we do. But customers are ignorant and they don't know any better. And what they do is they hire off of trust, and most are let down. So my thing is this, is if I'm not playing a game against others who play by the rules, then I've got to get more creative. I've got to be more descriptive. I've got to tell more stories. I've got to give a crystal ball experience. I've got to essentially say, listen, may I sit for a second and tell you exactly how this process is going to work? And may I outline all the preparation that we're going to be doing to ensure that your paint job lasts as long as possible, to ensure that your flooring system is as strong as possible, to ensure that your roofing system and the experience that you get with putting on a roof is going to be a great one, and that you're going to get your money's worth. I drop names. Hey, just so you know, I got Donna. She's going to give you a call within the next 4 to 6 hours after you put down a deposit today, and she's going to schedule you in for a color consultation. And then in 2 weeks now, Joel is going to give you a call and he's going to schedule the pressure wash. And then a week later, Shamel is going to be by, and he's actually our project manager. And one thing you'll love about Shamel is that he actually takes you outside, walks around the house with you to make sure that everything that we discussed today is mentioned to him and that he's on the same page so we don't leave out any details. And as he's here, his crew is great. We got Dan and Dan Jr. They're actually a father-son team that actually work alongside of Shamel. And they have been working together for over 5 years. They have such chemistry, and they really make your job look amazing. And then we have a new guy. His name's Kirby. You're gonna love this guy. He's super into cars. He's super detailed. I always love bringing on guys that have a car hobby because they are detailed. They understand detail and how important that is. And you're going to love these guys. And one thing that we're going to do first is we're going to make sure that we scrape down all this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do this. So the reality of the situation is that I understand that people don't get their house painted every so often. And if you make the crucial mistake of thinking that people know what this process entails, other than, oh, I'm going to get my house painted, then you're missing out on a large opportunity to educate and separate, educate and separate, educate and separate. That's what we're doing. We're educating the customer. And each time we do that, for every good thing that we say, we separate ourselves from the competition and we build value. Okay. Separating and building value. And what does value do? Value does one very important thing. It takes their expectation and it essentially replaces it with my expectation. Okay, so whatever they think that the job should cost, once I build value, they are going to adopt my belief of what the job should cost and how much they should pay for it. Because I built the value, I earned the credibility, I earned the right to ask for that price. Some of you are going into jobs and estimates with a price, and you didn't even earn the right to offer that price to an uneducated buyer. And that's the reality of the situation. You're getting frustrated that people aren't, just saying yes to your $10,000, $15,000 estimate when you spent 20 minutes there. You did a walk around. You didn't build a relationship. You didn't educate. You didn't offer advice. You didn't create chemistry. You didn't find common ground. And you're just sending a proposal thinking that you deserve to send it because you've been in business for however long. You have the reviews that you have, and you deserve that price. Let me tell you something. Every single customer deserves the same exact experience as if it were you starting out your business trying to fight for business. If you have that mentality and that humility, you will be successful. You will sell more jobs. But the mistake that you make is that you get confident, you get cocky, you shoot your price up because you know that you're superior, but guess what? Your customers don't know that. Your customers have a very, very hard time understanding the difference between the guy who comes with a truck and his name on the truck and works by himself and your full scale company. And you might think, well, that's silly. They don't understand. They of course they know the difference. Let me tell you something. They really don't. They see it as painting. They see it as installing flooring. Unless they've been through a really poor experience and have the awareness at this point to decipher between two contractors and start vetting now because they've been burned, then you're dealing with an average consumer who is ignorant to the difference between two different painting companies, two different flooring companies. What they are looking for is number one, value and a deal. That is what everyone looks for when they buy anything, value and a deal. That's it. Everyone wants it. No one just wants to pay as much as possible. Okay. No one just writes checks. If you find somebody that does that, then good for you. But the majority of the people that we'll work for want value and they want a deal. They do not want to be screwed over. Okay. And they want to get the value of either equal or greater value than what they're paying. So, how do you do this? Well, it's very, 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 very simple. We educate. That's it. That's the secret. Welcome to my, thanks for coming to my TED Talk today. Okay. I'm really just giving this to you because I've seen it so much. And I really want you to understand that it's not that people are being disrespectful. It's not that they don't value you. It's not that you're doing, you're not worthy of the amount of money that you're trying to charge. It's that you didn't deserve it. You didn't earn it. You didn't convey the belief. You didn't build the trust. Remember, if there were two crystal balls in front of the customer and it was your company's experience versus the other company's experience, and they saw how they both played out, don't you think it would be very easy for them to write the check? Absolutely. It's really funny. I mean, my wife and I, we went the other day to look for a plot of land. We definitely want to get some land, and the price on it is super high in comparison, but the location's great. And part of me, you know, is a little anxious because it's like when you buy land, and we're not planning on building the house yet, but when you buy land, you're kind of stuck with it. So I'm thinking, man, it would be so nice to just see that crystal ball of like what it looks like when we have our house built on this land, like how happy we'll be on this land and what it'll look like and how our kids will grow up here and like, is this the right place for us? And unfortunately, we will never know that until we get there. But if somebody were selling me on this land, they would do a pretty good job of identifying what that would look like for me and help me make that decision a lot clearer by saying, actually, this area is great. The schools are great here. This neighbor over here, he's going to be such a great neighbor for you. I actually have known him for a couple years. He's an awesome. He's a woodworker, and this area back here is an untamed area. It's an unmanaged area, or not unmanaged. It's just a unoccupied area, so you won't have to worry about any neighbors moving behind you. And these are all unknowns. We just stopped at this property, so we don't know. So like for us, when we see a price on this property, we're just like, I don't know. But if somebody were there helping us see the value in the property and painting a picture for us, it would make it a lot easier. And it's the same thing that we're doing when we're selling our jobs, is that we've got to make it easy for people to pull out the money because they don't want to get hurt. No one wants to spend more money and get less value than what they spent. That is when people get upset and frustrated and leave bad reviews. It's when when they spend the money and they feel like they haven't received the value of which that they were promised. And obviously, with all of what I'm saying here, it is on you to make sure that you are fulfilling the promises of your sale. And that is where your production comes in. We've got plenty of episodes on that here that you can listen to, but I just want to help you understand the concept of educating, separating, and building value. This is how I sell. This is how the best of the best sells, in my personal opinion. And ultimately, again, remember, you're in a game where people aren't playing by the rules. So you can either join them and not play by the rules, which I know that you're probably not going to do, or you can be strategic and creative, and you can look people in the eye with truth and say, listen, this is how we're going to do it, and make it personal. Use names of your team members. Use enthusiasm about, how you can't wait for the transformation, how excited you are about what the outcome is going to look like for them and how they're going to feel when they achieve that outcome. Really it comes down to being a friend, being a friend. And it's so much easier to buy from a friend. It's so much easier to hire, not in all cases, but if you're making a hiring decision, hiring someone that or one of your team members knows, because the risk is lower. It's all about risk. It's all about risk when you make a decision. And we want to lower that risk by helping them see the end result before they see it, by telling a story, by showcasing our values. And again, adopting the same enthusiasm they have. People are excited to do this. Chances are you're offering someone the service that's going to be the most expensive thing they buy for the year, average consumer. Okay. Painting their house. Some people save up for it, right? It's a big decision for them and they want to make it a good one and be excited about it. Help them with the colors. Obviously, if you're a painting contractor, colors are the biggest thing that we can really help with and give ideas and opinions on. I've won so many jobs just by caring. That's it, just by caring. But sometimes we got to sift through the uncertainty and separate ourselves from the competition. And you do so by the crystal ball, giving them the experience before they have the experience, building the trust, being enthusiastic, truly caring. And that is what will get you the jobs. Now, remember, there are people that do not care. That's where you go, okay, this is an opportunity for me to get better for the customers that do care. This is my chance to do better for my guys who actually do care, who see the value in me and who are all in on me once I build that relationship, once I build that trust. So that is how you sell for more money. Well, I appreciate you listening to this, guys. It's been an awesome ride with this podcast. I am so excited for just the future. Going to keep them coming. Don't worry about that. But Dripjobs is here. I know some of you have been asking me. I've released it now to those who have done demos. So they're on it. If you're listening to this and you're wondering what Dripjobs is, reach out to me. I'd love to show you. It is an awesome software that's going to do exactly what we talked about today. It's going to build value with your customers before you meet them and after you meet them. So it's awesome. So thank you guys for listening. I'll catch you on the next episode and make it a great week. Dripjobs CRM is finally here. That's right. So Dripjobs is an automation platform for contractors, home service professionals that's going to automatically follow up with your customers. It's going to allow you to send invoices, estimates. It's going to allow you to send out blast marketing emails to individuals based on where they are in the buying process. This software is next level. And I'm reaching out to you. You're a listener of this podcast, and I want you to be one of the first ones to give it a shot. So if you want to see what Dripjobs can do for your business, I'd love for you to head over to dripjobs.com, sign up for a free demo, and get your team involved and let us sit with you and show you how powerful this software is. It's going to save you time, it's going to make you money, and you're going to love the features that are built into Dripjobs. So if you want to check it out, head over to dripjobs.com, and we will give you first priority being a podcast listener to be one of the very first to try out Dripjobs in your home service business. I'm super excited to share that with you, and I'll catch you on the next episode.